What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a daily news video. It's a good one. There's some fun stuff to talk about. Maybe not 100% accurate, you might say. Also because maybe it's in initial stages. You know that this type of news is coming out. But it's all kind of focused on attacking players. Besides Kessie, we'll talk about Lukaku, David, Balogun, Lindstrom, and also Kessie, because there's maybe potentially a little update on that one as well. Um, Also, Allegri spoke for the first time since the last game of the season. I'm not going to discuss that in this video. I'm going to do a live to talk about that a bit, and also, the latest updates, transfers, chat with you guys. So check that one out after this video or rewatch it as always. But let's start with the first bit of news. Before we do that, let's play the intro. Okay, so the first update is It's Lukaku. You might not want to hear it, but it's kind of relevant for the following news about potential attacking players coming in. Um, it's maybe the same thing, or maybe not, because apparently he's just not going to the Saudi league, and this is coming from Creator Sport. They're saying he no longer wants to consider that option if he actually ever was considering that option. Not even for 50 million euros a season, apparently. He told Chelsea that he wants to join Juve. The issue is he cannot join Juve now because there's nobody leaving. And with nobody, I'm saying Vlahovic. There's no offer for Vlahovic. There's an update on Vlahovic because he still has an injury. Allegri said that, they're trying to manage him, to have him fresh for the start of the season. I saw that as they're trying to manage him, so, well, he can be sold. But there's no offer. That could easily change now. If you look at the PSG situation, Messi gone, Icardi gone, obviously. But Mbappe, not on tour with the club. They told him, leave. If you don't sign a new deal, leave. They accepted a bid from the Saudi league, which is good because it was a ridiculous offer. You're going to accept that, but, I don't think Mbappe is going to do that. So they need a potential player, potentially two players. So maybe they could come in for an offer. Another update is that one of the actual owners of Tottenham, so not Levy, or he owns a little bit, potentially, or maybe he owns a stadium, something like that, part of the stadium. He said sell Harry Kane if he does not sign a new deal. Now that could also open potentially something for PSG and Bayern. What does that mean for Vlahovic? That's a big question. The only thing I know it needs to be done quick. Like, it's the 24th of August. Season will be underway now. We would have played our first game a month from now. And this is not a healthy situation because we have players who don't know if they're going to be here. We have players who are not fit. Like, the team is not improved. It has not improved. The only player that came in is Timothy Weah. And that is a big question mark still. We don't know how he's going to pan out. Could be good. Could be very average. Who knows? But the team hasn't improved. Like, you lost Cuadrado, you lost Di Maria, you lost Paredes, you got Rovella back. So potentially new signing. I'll consider him as new signing because he wasn't here. I'm not going to consider Rabiot and Milik as new signings because they were here and they were part of what happened last season. But things need to move up really quickly. Now, if you don't want Lukaku, and I'm one of them, the good news is there are alternatives, or according to the latest news. That doesn't mean that the alternatives are gonna come in. Basically, the first one is Jonathan David. And we talked about it. Me and Julian, we did that podcast, and we mentioned it. And Tutto Sport is kind of pushing that for the last 2 to 3 days. That he's a real target. Juntili wants him. He's actually not a plan B. He's just like plan A. It's just, can they get that deal potentially over the line? Like this rumor is saying, or this report is saying, they are in for him. He talked with Weah. Weah mentioned that they talked about the club. Nicolo Balic is also saying the relationship between the clubs is excellent, and an agreement, if they decide to push forward on this front, will be easy to reach. I'm not sure about that because the price will be, I think, more than 40 million. So I'm not going to say it's an easy deal to get done. But it's a very interesting one, which I do like. I do like him. I think he has proven himself. the Belgian league, in the French league. He can score goals. He had that issue at the World Cup, but like he can score goals. Like he's a very good player actually. He's 23, I think. Um, if you lose Vlahovic, 23, I'd rather bring in another 23-year-old than a 30-year-old on 40 million in transfer fees and potentially 8 million, 9 million on wages, on money you're not going to get back ever. So that's basically, it's a big question mark. Like he's not, how do you say that, proven. Like Lukaku is proven because of his age. Jonathan David, some might say he's not proven. So it's bigger of a gamble, but I'd rather take that type of gamble than gamble on Lukaku. And if you don't win, then you absolutely lost in money. You lost money, big money, and you lost in terms of you didn't win anything. So I'd rather do that one. And I do like him. I'm actually intrigued about potentially bringing him in. And we know Juntili wants him. We know actually he's his first choice. He wanted him at Napoli. They got Osimhen, but they were still going for David, or they were following David closely. Like, I think if he would stayed at Napoli and they sold Osimhen, they would have replaced him with a player like David. But let's see. I think at this moment in time, it's still Lukaku that's leading kind of the charge, also because of Allegri. But it's good to know that that option is still open. Now, another option that's open, and that's actually been mentioned by Romano and Di Marzio as well, is Balogun. Um, I actually found out today that he's American. I didn't know that. I saw an interview on BR Football about him with Pulisic, and I looked it up, and he plays for the American, or he's gonna play for the American national side team. I thought he was English. I'm not gonna lie. So that's kind of a surprise. We're keeping an eye on him, but also our Inter and Roma, and especially Inter now. And that has been mentioned like weeks back. Had a brilliant season at Reims. Actually, he scored a bit. Let's say he scored the same amount of goal as Jonathan David. Jonathan David had more, I think, like more goals and 3 more assists, something like that. Jonathan David for me is more proven because he has shown it on a longer period of time. Bellingham had this breakout season, which is crazy. I think nobody saw that coming. I think that's more of a bigger risk because you're not sure, can he kind of do it again? Not 20 plus goals, but like, can he do what he did consistently? I like Bellingham. If I need to choose, I'll choose Jonathan David. But I think he's a good player. But the asking price is 40 million euros, and I think that's too much. That's too much money, in my opinion. But he is an interesting profile. Like, I'd rather go for those type of profiles. Not saying I'm willing to pay 40 million, or I want the club to pay 40 million for Balogun, but I'd rather go for those options than go for Lukaku and spend 40 million euros. That's all I'm saying. That intrigued me more. That gives me more hope about the future, in my opinion. But he's an option. That name is out there, and I think we should take note of it because like that name has been out there for a couple of weeks now, days, weeks, whatever you want to call it. So there might be some truth into it. Like, we've been linked to a Morata. I'd rather pay money for these guys than paying 50 million euros and 5.5 for freaking Alvaro Morata. That's the players you should not be looking at all, at no cost. Selling Chiesa to replace him with Alvaro Morata is sickening. These are the deals that make me sick personally. I'd rather do this. Then I'd rather spend 40 million on Bellingham than wasting money on Alvaro Morata for 3 years, plus his wage will cost you 40 million in total, and I know what it's going to offer me, and it's close to absolutely nothing. It's not good enough because we've seen it's not good enough. But that's that situation. Another attacking player that has been mentioned the last couple of days is Jesper Lindstrom. Lindstrom from Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm not going to lie. Completely honest, I've read more on him than I've seen him play. I've seen him play a couple of times, but not full 90 minutes. So I'm not going to proclaim I'm an expert on this player. I like what I've seen, but again, very small sample size. So I need to go off what I've read from him more than what I've actually seen. What I've read from him is great. Everybody is very positive about him. The profile, excuse me, is he can replace Chiesa, but he can also play down the middle, play behind the strikers, and that makes him very interesting in my opinion because that gives you options information wise. The issue is they want 35 million. Now, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, he kind of agreed about a move. I think that's pushing it a little bit. I think we're looking at him. He's on the list, but I don't think as of now anything is really advanced. I don't think we offered him a contract, and he already spoke with us. I think they spoke with his agent, just as you do with many players. I think Gazzetta dello Sport are a bit, rushing here, but it's a good option. If you're actually going to lose Chiesa, it's a good option. Also because he's multifunctional, which is positive, which is good. Gives you a bit of an options here. And with multifunctional, I mean he can actually play in different positions. Not Bernardeschi multifunctional or... I don't know, I'm blanking out. Quadrado, he actually mastered that craft a little bit. But you know what I mean. You're trying to make a player what he's not. A bit like Yildiz. He's playing him as a mezzala to kind of replace Pogba. And I'm like, you have midfielders enough. You don't really need to do that. Now, it's kind of weird that we're actually doing that. Even if the reports are saying he's doing well, like, you have midfielders enough, You replaced Pogba last season, You're not going to play Yildiz. We know that you're not going to use him this season, and especially not as a mezzala. So let him play in his natural positions in preseason. It's a weird story, but with this, he can play in different positions, which makes him a very good option. At 35, I think that's too much. Also, I'm saying this because I've not seen enough to say. That's why with Balogun, I'm also saying 40. No, with him, I've seen not enough to say, yeah, but pay 35. Like, I would be a hypocrite to say pay, and I've not seen him enough. But everything I've read on him and the few things I've seen are actually very good. They're very good. So let's see. That name is kind of popping up the last couple of days a little bit more, but everything depends on selling players. That it's as simple as that, and that goes also for the last news story, and that's Frank Kessie. More reports saying that deal is going to happen, but those reports are also saying Parisi was going to happen. As from Gazzetta dello Sport saying optimism is growing. There's an agreement with Barcelona for a loan with an option to buy that becomes an obligation under certain conditions at 50 million euros. I don't think agreeing with Barcelona is the issue here. I think convincing Kessie to come back to the Serie A is the issue. With no Champions League football, I think it's as simple as that. That's what the issue is here. And also you need to sell first. Nothing on Zakaria, nothing on McKennie. There's no news. Nothing on Bonucci's agent. Yeah, something on Bonucci's agent telling us he's still a great player. He's the captain of the national team. He's captain because there's a donkey in Mancini coaching and calling up wrong old players. That's why he's still the captain. He's not a captain because of qualities on and off the pitch, because that he's never been. Like, we need to be honest. Or like on the pitch he was, but now. But captain material off the pitch, it's feel forced. You've all seen that documentary. It doesn't feel natural. So no sales means no signings. We can talk about this, and the club needs to be prepared. But if nothing is moving out, nothing is coming in. It's as simple as that. Gonna end it here. Gonna wrap it up. Thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe, join me for the live or rewatch live. Consider joining the members club because the prediction league starts in 3 to 4 weeks. It's gonna be fun. You can win a lot of stuff. Also during the season, we will give away stuff, so it's not quote unquote lost money. You will support the channel so we can keep this running and improve. But that's all. Thanks for watching. See ya.